Okay.
Should I turn this?
Let's shake hands. No,
I hope we will end it that way.
We'll end, yes. But we don't have to.
Not necessary.
Not necessary. No, the thing is that I've been at some of your sessions. You don't really speak into the open. You really visit people's home, and there people visit you. And then you don't really start until somebody asks a question. So all you really do is you give answers to questions. And then you tell that are not really answers, because we know the answers already. We're like some ventriloquist who is asking the question, and then with another voice, we're giving ourselves the answer. So after a little while, I've had experience, nobody dares to ask another questions, because every question seems to explode in our face. So I have learned, of course, as a kid, many things. For example, that you are there and I'm here. But now I start to slowly discover that I might not be able to see you, but that I only can see, say, my image of you, my idea of you. So in a way, I have the feeling nowadays that I actually create you, and that you create me. But you talk about our problems, and you tell that you are in a little different position.
I don't think you got me right.
No, I'm sure. That's why I ask questions.
Yes, that is true. The questions are born out of the answers you already have. Otherwise, you cannot ask any questions. But we have been brainwashed to believe that you should ask questions and get the answers from those you think are competent enough to give the answers. But actually, those who ask the questions are not really interested in the answers. If, as you say, that I give the answers, which I really don't give the answers, they seem to be the answers to the questions which they are throwing at me. But if there is any answer to that question, this question should go. But they still continue to ask the questions. That implies that the answers which they think are coming forth or from me are not really the answers they want. What they want is only a confirmation to the answers they already have. So if there is any answer to the question, the question should go. And if the question goes, the answers they have from which the answers have been formulated also go with them. But there arises a point, because the answers are not their answers. The answers have given by those in whom they have tremendous confidence and faith and believe that they are the real answers. But they are not sure, otherwise they wouldn't be asking these questions at all. So if the question goes, the answer also goes with it. And along with the answer, those who are responsible for giving us the answers, or putting the answers there in us, also have to go. So the sentiment comes into the picture, and they dare not question the answer they already have, because they are questioning the teachers who are responsible for the answers. So the whole game is on their part. You see, I'm not playing the game with them. I'm just pointing out the absurdity of asking the questions, because they really do not want the answers to their questions. So what they are really interested in is confirmation from me, so that they feel comforted, so they feel strengthened and fortified in the belief that they are really the answers. But there is a gnawing doubt in them. They are not so sure that the answers are the real answers for their problems. As I very often point out, there are really no questions there at all. There are no problems there. The problem is the solution they have, offered by those in whom they have faith, tremendous faith and confidence, and believe the teachers to be in possession of something, and their solutions are the real solutions for the problems with which they are confronted with. But really they are not the solutions. If they were the solutions, The solution should solve the problem, but the problems are still there. If really there is no solution for a problem, then the problem also goes with it. In exactly the same way, they really do not want the answers. So they are only interested in finding out somebody who confirms them. Through that confirmation, they feel strengthened and fortified in the answers that they have, but yet they doubt that something is wrong with them, and they are not ready to accept that situation. So they are really interested in comforters. They are interested in ice packs so that they can feel comfortable in their situation. Actually, there are no comforters there. See, they are not really interested in solving the problems. I do not see any problem there. I see only the solutions, but I am telling them that they are not the solutions, but they are not ready to free themselves from the problems, and if the problems go, they also go with the problems, and they are not ready for that kind of a thing. So they are playing with this question and answer.
You mean that if they solve the problems, or if we solve the problems, that we go in the process?
You as you know yourself, you as you experience yourself, that moment of knowledge comes to an end.
That means we die?
That it's not just a psychological, poetic, romantic death, but a physical death occurs there. Physical death means clinical death. But there is no such a thing as a physical death for this body at all. So death is something which cannot be experienced by this body. As a matter of fact, the body is some sort of an idea that we have created for ourselves. The body has no independent existence of its own. You began this, whatever you want to call it, the conversation or the dialogue, by making a statement that you create me. That is true, but you must have an image of yourself. If you don't have an image of yourself, you have no way of creating me. You seem to have an image of me, and it is that image you project it on me and create me, whereas I do not have any image of myself. So I have no way of creating you. That seems to be the basic problem here, or the difficulty of understanding that how it is possible to be without an image. See, the image we have of ourselves is put in by culture. Culture is the one that has created this problem for us. And so, as a matter of fact, if you want to experience the existence of your own body, it is not possible to experience your own existence without the help of the knowledge that is put in there by our culture or society or whatever you want to call it.
So the culture really teaches us how to see.
How to see, how to look, how to hear, how to listen, how to experience things.
Everything.
So, and the most important question which we all pose ourselves and throw at others is how to live. So this is a living organism. It is not interested in asking any questions as to how to live.
But at the same time, the culture, my parents and many other parents, tell kids from the beginning that they're not good enough. That they have to learn everything, and they get continuously actually flack or punishment for what they do wrong, very little compliment for what they do right. So the focus is on not being good.
That is the basic problem which we are facing today. So, but this is not interested in learning anything and knowing anything from us. But to be able to function in this world, we have to accept what is expected of us. See, so what they have put in there is the fear. The fear that, you see, will not be able to fit into the value system that they have created for us. Actually, they do not themselves believe in what they are teaching us. It doesn't operate in their lives. So they put that, you see, the neurotic situation across to the children and create this fear. See, what we have there is only actually the fear. The fear of losing what you know. The fear of losing what you are experiencing yourself through the help of that knowledge, what we call knowledge. When I use that word knowledge, I do not use it in a very mysterious, mystical or metaphysical sense. The knowledge that is a flashlight, that is a video camera, that you see, this is my hand, this is my nose. That's what you teach your children.
Yes.
Every time you have a visitor, you ask your child, show me your hand, show me your nose, show me your ears, show me your teeth. Probably they don't ask them to show the teeth because they don't still have the teeth there. That's a different story. But you see, tell your friend the name. So that is how we build the identity. The identity is born out of fear. So you do not want the identity to come to an end. The only way you can maintain constantly this identity is through the demand to know more and more and more. We already know a lot, but we are not ready to free ourselves from the knowledge we have been accumulating. So we want to accumulate, add more and more and more to that knowledge. So that's the most important thing. The identity is the most important thing. How do you maintain and give continuity to that identity? It is through the constant use of memory. That's all that is there. The knowledge is memory.
Things you've learned.
Since we are taught by the culture, the society, educators, teachers, the whole lot of them, whole environment.
So there's no original thought of our own?
There is no thought which you can call your own. I don't have any thoughts which I can call my own. So I assure you that you don't have any thoughts which you can.
So it's all acquired?
All acquired.
Like
so all our experiences are also born out of the knowledge we have. Without the knowledge, you have no way of experiencing anything. So the knowledge we have is not ours. Whether they are material or spiritual, it really doesn't matter. Unfortunately, the culture has created what is called the spiritual values and put them on a higher level. And we all consider that the spiritual values are more important than material values. But our demand is only for the material values only. We cover it up with the idea that we are pursuing some spiritual values. Because the instrument which we are using is matter, which is thought is matter. And so all the spiritual goals are materialistic in their value. When we go to a church, what do? You pray to God. And what do we want from God? See, the material benefits. Health, wealth, more knowledge, this, that and the other. So how can you place spiritual values on a higher level? We feel that by practicing spiritual values, we are superior to all those others who are pursuing the materialistic values. I do not see basically any difference between those who are interested in making millions and millions of guilders or those who are interested in collecting millions and millions of spiritual experiences. But it makes you feel good, makes you feel superior to the rest of those whom we condemn as materialistic in their lives and in their values. So it makes us feel good. That's about all that is there about the spiritual values which we have been preaching for centuries.
For a long, long time.
For a long, long time.
So we give...
So unfortunately, in wealthy countries in the West, you have created a market for those people who come from outside and sell those shoddy piece of goods and make you believe that they have the answers for your values.
So perhaps we teach first and we believe, of course, that we're not good or not good enough. And then later when we grown up and we still feel not good enough, then we ask or seek for people that can give us the feeling that we are good.
Yes, that is the guilt complex which is put in there by our culture. So you feel guilty that you are not up to the mark, that you are not fitting yourself into the environment, that you are not fitting yourself into the value system, and so you feel guilty. It is created by the society. And so then they have an antidote for your guilt, free yourself from guilt. So they have turned us all into neurotic individuals. But it is absolutely necessary for us to live that neurotic life, otherwise you have no way of functioning in this world.
If you would stop it, you would die.
No, you see, I don't know what exactly you mean by if you stop it. There's no way you can stop it.
Some people believe that they can be good or get on a spiritual, on a higher level by, for example, meditation.
They are just
stopping thinking.
How do they go about? The only way they can stop their thinking is through thinking. So it is the most difficult thing for us to understand that thought can only create problems. It cannot help us to solve the problems. That's all that we have. The thoughts help us to function very efficiently in this world. It's a tremendous instrument we have. That's the only instrument we have. There is no other instrument. But we also know that that is our enemy, and it is that is creating all the problems. But it is very difficult for you to understand that that is not the instrument and there is no other instrument. When that realization dawns on you that that is not the instrument and that there is no other instrument, there is no need for you to look around for another kind of an instrument. No instrument is necessary. Thought falls in its proper place and it functions in a very intelligent and sane way. It helps us to function sanely and intelligently in this world. It cannot help us to create in what you are interested in. What are you interested in? What is anybody interested in this world? The quest for permanent happiness.
Right.
That's all that they are interested in. All these religious people who are selling those shoddy piece of goods in the marketplace assure us that there is eternal happiness, that there is another kind of a bliss, beatitude, immensity, and all that kind of a stuff, and they put us on a merry-go-round.
But isn't it possible, for example, we teach the children, for example, to go against their feeling. For example, a kid doesn't want to go to school, but we say, with an argument, with an idea, you have to go against your feeling, because later you will be very grateful, you get a good job, you get money, and so the body reacts by warning us that we go against it, in a way.
You know,
Isn't it?
The feelings are also thoughts.
Thoughts?
Yes, they are also thoughts. Somehow we are made to believe that the feelings are different from the thoughts.
Hunger too? Thirst too?
They are natural functionings of the body.
Yes.
So what is hunger after all? The definition of hunger is something very strange. When the glucose level goes down, what you call hunger is created there. The demand to maintain the level of glucose in your system, that's all. But if you don't feed this body for 2 or 3 days, probably the first 2 days you will feel the hunger tantrums. Afterwards you don't know what hunger is.
No.
So the body begins to live on itself.
But then on a certain moment the hunger comes back. And then you know, if you then don't eat...
So what you are left with is the memory of hunger. That's hunger. So that is why in all spiritual pursuits, the fasting is a very important factor, both here in the West and in the East. So fasting creates some disturbances in the chemistry of your body, and it gives you all kinds of experiences which are in the area of fantasies. And you call them spiritual experiences and feel so good. You know, in Ireland where the terrorists fasted for 63 days, that's what they say. You can last for 61, 62, 63 days. That's all you can last. So it lives on itself. And they have recorded some of those experiences which fall into the area of spiritual experiences. So if you fast, that fasting gives you some fantastic experiences. And you see, give a name to them and call them the spiritual experiences. All experiences demand more and more experiences of one kind and less of the other kind. So that's all that we are interested in. But there is no such thing as a new experience at all. It needs water. So if we deny water, a sort of a dehydration takes place, and it goes where?
Yeah.
Goes where? It does not go anywhere. You see, it is put together and then it falls apart. And so a reshuffling of atoms takes place in nature, and that is very essential for the universe because it has to maintain the level of energy in the universe. So this human body is an integral part of all this, the forms of life on this planet. It has no separate, independent existence of its own.
It's a support system in a way.
It's a support system. Millions and millions of bacteria are crawling all over your body. If it is possible for you to enlarge it, magnify it, and look under a magnifying glass, you will be surprised that some of them are as big as cockroaches.
Yeah.
So they live on this. Inside of you, the flora and the fauna, they have their own part to play. See, one form of life lives on another form of life.
Yeah. Yeah, we all support each other.
Support each other. So
if we eat, for example, we support the body.
If you are breathing,
you support the body.
You are inhaling millions of germs.
Yeah.
So is that not killing? It is a sort of a killing, but you see, you cannot stop breathing. If you stop breathing, you will be choked to death. And probably those bacteria will have a field day. They enjoy, they feast.
Yeah.
I'm not.
And we breathe out millions of bacteria too.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Your sweat is bacteria, and you are killing them with the armpit cosmetics, and they are not good enough. Now they are coming out with something else. We create a market for that kind of a thing.
If we don't accept it.
If you don't accept it, you see, you may consider me frivolous, and if I say that those smells are essential for sex activity, you know.
So
you always smell, you know that. You see,
Yeah.
don't make fun of that. You see, the smell plays a tremendous part in your lovemaking, as is the case in the animals. We are no different from the animals. The unfortunate situation that the civilization has created for us to make us believe that we are created. If anybody has created us for a grander and nobler purpose than all these species on this planet. That's the first error. The second error is that the whole nature is created for our benefit. So any attempt on our part to understand the laws of nature and use them will inevitably result in creating mischief in this world and destroying what nature has created. You know?
So instead of trying to improve ourselves, it's better to accept ourselves as we are.
Accept the reality of the situation exactly the way it is.
It is.
Yes. So as long as there is a demand which is put in by culture, I'm not blaming culture. There is no way that you can destroy the culture. You are created by that, and you are that. You are that. Your thinkings, your feelings, your experiences depend upon that. Otherwise, you have no way of experiencing yourself as an entity here. So what do we do about it? It's not a question of destroying that, but trying to understand what this is all about. And when once that understanding dawns on you, you become part of that culture, and you cannot separate yourself, and you are not in conflict with that culture. That's all that I'm trying to point out. Those who are interested in listening to what I have to say, I have no message for mankind. As long as there is a demand in you to bring about a change, so long there is inside of you, within you, so long there is a demand to change the world. And once this demand to bring about a change in you isn't there anymore, you are not concerned about changing the world.
No.
What is wrong with the world?
Or about changing yourself.
Changing yourself. My question is, what is there you think demands a change? I say there is nothing there to be changed. So all that talk of radical change and radical mutation is frivolous nonsense.
That's what we've learned. We've learned we're not good enough. So that's what we believe. So we're constantly trying to improve ourselves.
That's the way to force you to fit into that value system. And so we do exactly the same thing. We force these things on our children, and they in their turn force it on their children. So this goes on and on and on, and there seems to be no end. I was talking to my hostess this morning at the breakfast table. If somebody can come up with, you see, a way of freeing the children from ignorance without destroying the innocence they are born with, that would be a tremendous feat.
Yeah.
Nobody has come up with any answers for that basic question, how to leave the innocence, how the tremendous intelligence they are born with alone, and teach them how to fit into this framework. We really do not know. We have been a miserable lot. We have totally failed in fitting ourselves into the value system. There is a constant battle between us and the value system. So there is no way you can, you see, help them to function sanely and intelligently. Somewhere along the line, if they are lucky enough, they will have to realize and find out the answers for themselves and for themselves.
Yeah, we saw it. I raised 2 kids and they didn't want to go to school. So we said, okay, you don't go to school. And they never went.
They are more intelligent than all those who have gone to the
much more. And
probably they don't have a tool to function in this world. So we are sadists. We are really sadists. We force these people to do things the way we want them to do.
Exactly.
That's why you keep
it's manipulation.
Yes, manipulation. Unfortunately, they are also forced to accept our silly, idiotic ideas. They want us to accept them, and we want to force them into this framework.
Yeah.
That has been going on for centuries, and probably it will go on forever and who knows, unless we blow ourselves up one day. Yeah, anything and everything we are doing is slowly pushing us in the direction of wiping ourselves out and wiping out every form of life on this
But is the manipulation a result of that I have an image of myself, I project my image on you, so if I see something wrong with you, it's really something in me.
Yes, it is.
And I destroy you because I think something wrong with you, and I destroy myself.
Ultimately, yes, we destroy ourselves. That is why very often say that it is not love that will save us, but the terror that if I try to destroy you, I will also go with you.
Yeah.
That is what is happening in the field of politics in the world around us. The superpowers have come to realize that they cannot destroy their adversaries without destroying themselves. So that has to percolate to the level of the common man's thinking.
Yeah.
That I cannot destroy my neighbor without destroying myself.
So that's one thing.
That's the way you see this living organism is functioning. You see the cellular structure is functioning. Unless it cooperates with the cell that is next to it, it has no way of survival. So that's the reason why it cooperates. Not because of love, not because of brotherhood, not because of understanding. That your survival depends upon the survival of your fellow beings. But your survival and the survival of your fellow beings go together.
So what you literally see around you, that's you.
Your projection of you.
Anything.
Anything you see is created by you. I don't mean by you, you see.
By what I think is me.
Yes, what is there is responsible for creating all these problems. You see, the idea that we create the world, you see, the world creates you in a way. It's a very strange situation, you see. So when I say these things to people in India, they have this idea that there is a subject there, it is the subject that creates the object. But actually it is the other way around. You see, the object creates the subject. You see, if you say that's an object, we get into this discussion, metaphysical discussion, philosophical discussion, logical discussion. To prove that, you see, you say that there is an object, how is that object different from the subject, and so on and so forth. That helps us only to sharpen this instrument which we use to understand the reality of things. For example, that light thrown on these objects reflects them, and that the image you have on the retina, you see, is the one that is actually created by the light there. And in that process, the neurons, the memory cells are activated and tells you that that is a woman, that is a man, that his pullover is red and that is black.
So if you have no idea, if you've never learned, you cannot see it.
You cannot see. That's why I always give the example of what goes on the television set. You see. The images are created by us. You will be surprised. They are only dots. You see. Yeah. So you see the pictures. What you see there is a projection of yours. You will be surprised. Actually, there are only dots there. Yeah. So supposing you take this the cassette and play in an African jungle. She also knows that they look like the human beings. Some others there look like the women and animals and all that. But they are projecting their own ideations and meditations on what they are looking.
Right.
They are actually dots.
Yeah.
There's nothing there.
Exactly.
So listening also is the same. See, when you listen to music, you don't listen the gaps between the two notes. The continuity to the music is created by you.
Yeah.
So actually, the listening mechanism listens as the gap between the two notes and the tune.
Yeah.
That is music.
Yeah.
So all our music is a cultivated taste.
Yes.
You know.
It's say took a man from the African jungle into the open field where he had never been in his life, and he saw people in the distance, and he got terrified because he saw small people.
Yes.
He had never learned distance, for example. No. So you have to literally learn everything.
Even that is thought to function in this three-dimensional space is taught by somebody to us. Right. So otherwise you have no way of experiencing the three-dimensional space in which you and I are functioning.
So we're totally stuck in a pattern.
So when such a thing happens to a particular individual, you see, the psychiatrist comes along and tells that, you see, we have got to put together the identity which you are losing. Without that, you have no way of experiencing even the three-dimensional space in which we are supposed to be function. The physical organism does not say to itself that there is a wall there. So it does not mean that when you go there, you hit yourself against the wall and hurt yourself. When you are there, then there is an action. That action is the intelligence that is there. So it moves away like the water flowing. If there is a block there, it either overflows or sidesteps and goes away somewhere else. So in exactly the same way, when you are there, this knows how to act because it doesn't want to hurt itself, hit the wall there. So, but you constantly live in the space created by your thoughts. Thought is space, you know. Otherwise, you have no way of experiencing the space at all. Some moments when the thought is slows down, when the thought slows down, some individuals experience a state where there seems to be no space at all, and they are frightened.
Yeah. At the same time, when the body gets into severe danger, then the first thing the body does is stop thinking.
Stop thinking.
And you run like you've never thought possible of running. You jump over walls, so you never thought it was possible.
Certainly, if you are on the top of a tree and the branch falls, if you fall with it, it is the fear that is responsible for breaking your bones.
Breaking your bones.
Otherwise, if you are not frightened of the consequences, the possibility of breaking your bones when you hit the ground, then it becomes very supple. It's like a rubber doll,
right.
And it lands on the ground like a rubber doll.
Like children, they fall from staircases and nothing happens.
There was a story that a little child fell from a 7th floor or 8th floor, I don't remember the exact floor in New York. The child got up and walked away.
Yeah, right.
So we should not try that experiment because
No, don't.
we break our bones.
Yeah. So if you believe it, it happens.
The fear that you will hurt yourself. So you find yourself in a jungle. The cobras are the most beautiful creatures. You see. If you are not frightened that the cobra will kill you, you see, you will be surprised that they will take a walk with you.
Yes.
You know, or even the wild animals there. So once you are frightened, you emit some sort of odors. So they have to take the first step. They don't trust the human beings at all because they kill for nothing. They kill only one person who is threatening to kill, but we kill all the hundreds and thousands of cobras, and that creates a problem in the fields because the field mice have a field day there,
yes.
And they destroy our crops, and we have a problem there.
And
so every species has a definite place in the scheme of things. It is our fear that it will destroy your child. You will be surprised that, you see, the cobras never bite a child, you know, because they know that the child is harmless. But if they look at us, they know that we are not harmless. We are going to kill not one cobra, but hundreds of cobras.
And the reason we kill the cobras is because we are terrified of them.
Terrified, and we emit odor, so it has to take the first step. We have better weapons than the cobra has, so it's fighting a lost battle with us.
Yes.
In nature, you see, they fight to the last, and that is the end, or if they find that they cannot fight, they run away. So we are not like that. We create all the imaginable situations and try to destroy everything in nature. There is a tremendous balance in nature. Our idea of harmony is born out of our very crude thinking.
Yes, we have the feeling that we have to fight nature, and we are nature too, so we are fighting ourselves.
We are fighting ourselves.
Yeah, it's very interesting. So it's a contradiction.
It's a contradiction. That's the neurotic state that is created by culture. So there is no use blaming the culture. No, I'm not blaming the culture. If you destroy one culture, you replace with another culture. That's the human history.
The body needs culture.
The body does not need culture. No. No.
If I put a kid in an island where there's nothing, no other people.
It is your fear. They will probably find out some way of thriving in that environment. We don't know. It is our fear that we are projecting on them.
No, but say will take the culture of that environment.
Certainly.
Yeah.
Yes.
If I bring it in the nest of a wolf, it will become a wolf.
It will become part of that environment there, but it is our fear, you see, that is responsible for The problems we create for the children, they also in a way want to be accepted by us. It's not a one way.
No.
It is two ways.
And children believe everything immediately.
No, I don't
No?
think so. They question.
Say question.
They question. They are frightened to disagree with us, to argue with us, to fight. You see, what you put in them is fear. The fear is all that is there. You do not want the fear to come to you. The fear is not something abstract. The fear is something living there. You don't want to look at that fear. You have no way of looking at that. The only way you can deal with the fear is how to be free from fear. That's all that we are told. You know, all the therapies, all the techniques that are offered to us is how to deal with something that you cannot deal with. It's something living there. So
Yeah.
all these houses are dead houses created,
Yeah.
born out of the imagination. So we have no way of dealing with that at all.
No, and all our institutions are based on fear. The
The whole
police,
thing,
bank,
everything,
insurance, everything is based
everything,
on
the
fear.
status quo,
Yeah.
everything, even the whole legal structure. So the whole fear is born out of the situation we find ourselves when we separated ourselves from the rest of life around us. In that fear, you see, we created God, we created so many things. You know, the whole thing came out of that.
And do you have a definition for fear?
What is the point in defining?
I don't know, I should ask.
That is something which you cannot touch, you cannot see, you cannot experience that at all.
It's
If
a
you leave
feeling.
that fear alone, that it will burn what you are trying to free yourself from.
Say that again?
You see, if you leave that alone, it
Yes.
will burn the whole instrument that you are using to free yourself from fear.
If you accept it,
No, accept is not the word. If you
support
accept,
it,
none of those words
Fits.
fit into the situation.
You leave it alone.
See, leaving it alone is through some attempt of yours to leave it alone.
yeah, right.
We are playing all the time these tricks with us,
Yeah, right,
ourselves,
right,
with
right.
ourselves. We are experts, past masters in this game.
Yes.
We enjoy that game. Yeah,
So
that's-
we create problems and then we, with the
and
same
then we
mind, we try to
solve
undo the problems.
problems. So if you don't have a problem, you don't feel that you are living.
Yeah.
You have to have a problem, and your attempt to solve the problem makes you feel that you are living.
Yeah, right.
That's all that we are interested in.
So it's a kind of restriction that creates growth?
No, I'm not with you.
No, I don't know. I just
What is
ask.
that word again? I'm not with you.
If like say a problem is a kind of, we feel it as a kind of restriction.
Actually, there is no problem there.
No, of course not.
Actually, there is no problem. There is a mechanical problem. Something is wrong. See with that light there. There is an expert who has, through repeated attempts, discovered how to repair that.
Yeah,
So this is something living.
yeah,
So those techniques cannot help us to solve something living, because this will destroy that. All the techniques we have evolved to solve these living problems. These problems are living. You know, the techniques are dead techniques born out of the thinking of somebody. Anything that is born out of thought is destructive. It is trying to protect itself. It is interested only in status quo, maintaining its status quo.
So what is intuition?
Intuition is a tricky word. It's nothing but a sensitized thought. You see, it makes you feel that you can understand the problems. It is an ingenious invention of thought. And to create a word like insight, that intuition, but actually intuition is nothing but a sensitized thought. You know, it's a very...
And the same feeling is also an idea of...
The thought, you see. So unless you tell yourself that you are happy, you have no way of knowing that you are happy.
No.
Or you are angry, you see. You have no way of discovering that for yourself unless you tell yourself that you are angry.
But you can give, by believing it yourself, the illusion that you feel good.
That is an illusion, but you see, you are not ready to free yourself from that illusion. You see, we are all trying to free ourselves from illusion, but you replace one illusion with another illusion. That's all that we can do. We do not want the illusion to come to an end. If the illusion comes to an end, or the belief structure that we have created comes to an end, you come to an end. That is the only death, there is no other death. What happens after that, what is left is not your concern. It is the concern of others. It is their problem, not your problem anymore. Isn't that enough? That's enough. How long have we? Half an hour. I'll say the same thing again and again and again.
Yeah, sure.
That's all.
But that's what our mind is doing anyway.
That's
we
all.
say the
It's a
same
repetitive
thoughts
process.
every day, again and again and again.
Every day.
Every
the
day.
same thing. That's the only way it can survive
Yeah.
and maintain its continuity.
It's like a broken record in a way.
Yes, a stuck needle
Stuck needle.
repeats itself. That's all that we are interested in. We want to hear the same tune again and again and again.
Yeah. But they discovered that for story writing there's only 36 plots.
Even that is doubtful. You are
And
a
that-
storyteller and
Yeah.
you have exhausted all the 36.
Oh yes.
And you have to start all over again. But you will have a different audience,
Oh yeah, sure.
different age children.
But I think with television too, people have seen everything already so many times and to see it again and again and
They
again.
also want to see the same thing again and again.
Yeah.
That is how all these musicians thrive, because you want to listen to the music over and over and over again.
Yeah.
It's a repetitive process that it is all interested in. Otherwise, anything new there is a threat. It takes time. You see, in any field, in the field of science, in the field of music, in the field of art, it's not so easy for those people who are caught up in this classical music to enjoy the pop and rock music of today. You see, they blame these children. They say, your tastes are very vulgar, they say, but the moment you see this comes on television, I have a friend who is steeped in this classical music. He turns off the television.
Yeah.
Why the hell does he do it? I ask him. You see, that's also music. He just cannot take that music.
No.
And why do you expect those children who are interested in rock music, pop music, to bother about the classical music? These are all cultivated tastes.
Yeah. So if you don't have the taste for it, or you don't have the idea for it, if you never heard of it, and it might be there, but you cannot see it.
No, it's
Or is there nothing there?
such a situation does not exist
No.
at all. Either you are familiar with this, or you have cultivated a taste in the Western music or the Eastern music, or pop music or rock music. The problem with the modern electronics is that you are not satisfied with the 2 microphones, 4, 8, 16, probably very soon we will have 32,
It's already 48.
48, so it's more than your story plots. That is something. So you have to have the same titillation there, you see, otherwise you don't feel. That's music, you know.
Yeah.
And well, that's fun, that's life. C'est la vie.
Yeah. Nothing wrong.
Nothing wrong, I'm not saying anything.
So,
But we feel superior because our tastes are very refined.
yeah.
And you know, those boys who listen to this rock music, pop music, it's all sexy, it is this, that and the other. But I don't see any difference between what is rock music. Music is music, you know. Like food, you know, all our tastes are cultivated tastes. So one man's, I cannot say this is an age where feminists are fighting for their rights. The languages also, you see, is very strange, you know.
But then if you believe that
Mankind, you say, but what about half the population don't seem to have any role to play in this world?
Yeah.
The language structure is so absurd. Mankind, you say, you always refer to man as if the other half does not exist. They have every right to fight for their rights. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that one man's food is another man's poison. See, I'm just quoting in that proverb. You know. One man's taste is another man's taste. Is different, you know. So there it is. But trying to find out the common factor is very difficult, you know.
So, but the belief...
we always force others to accept our
Belief.
thinking, our beliefs,
Yeah.
our ideas. You can believe what you like. The moment you try to impose your belief on your neighbor, you are creating a war there.
Right.
You can believe in what you like, but you use that as an instrument of destruction. Force it on others.
On others, yes.
That's what we do. That's what religions have done. In the name of love thy neighbor as thyself, we have killed more people than all the recent wars put together. How can we justify that? We use God as an instrument of destruction. We use love as an instrument of destruction, brotherhood as an instrument of destruction, you know. So that's all that we are interested in, imposing our ideas on others. And what is the conversation between two individuals? You'll be surprised. You are, through logic, through rationality, through every instrument you have at your disposal. If everything fails, you play the last card. If you loved me, you would not do this. These are all parenthetical clauses. The conversation between two individuals is to make the other person to do the things exactly the way you want them to do. Otherwise, the whole conversation comes to an end.
Yeah.
Some people go to a movie when they come home. I ask them, "How is the movie?" Just a question, you see. Instead of telling me it is good or bad, I will be satisfied if they said only bad or good. But they go on and on and on for 15 to 20 minutes to tell me why the film was bad. And compare that film with all the other films which they have seen before or which they are going to see. That's all the conversation. So if you are a past master in that kind of a game, you are considered to be a great conversationalist.
Yeah.
You know. Or you descend to the level of salon de thé or coffee table conversation, or what is the other phrase we have?
Cocktail lounge.
Cocktail
lounge, yeah.
Yes. You talk about the food you eat and your taste and the clothes you wear, where you bought this. I'm not cynical, I'm just pointing out.
No, it's mostly talking about problems, actually.
Yes, that's all. And your taste, how refined your tastes are and how bad my tastes are. That's all the conversation. Everybody is trying to educate everybody. You know, you'll be surprised that we can learn a lot from children than from all the secular and spiritual teachers put together in this world. Because it's life speaking to us.
Yes.
We are not intelligent enough to understand what they are trying to teach us.
Yeah.
We think that we know a lot. We have got to learn a lot from those children. They will teach us a lot.
Yeah.
You know,
It's true.
The problem is that we cannot deal with them. They are too much for us. You know, the energy they have, tremendous energy they have. We don't have energy to deal with those children. You know, it is a tremendous problem. I don't have any easy answers for that. I'm not a teacher. I'm not an educationist. I'm just pointing out that I have learned much more than from a child than from all the spiritual and secular teachers put together.
Yeah.
That's enough, I think. We'll have a chance to talk again. We are going there tonight, or that's not there?
Yes, tonight we can talk on Radio 100.
I'll repeat the same thing.
Yes, we talk about the same thing.
The audience probably will be different.
I have one more question.
Yes,
how does art fits in this?
You are asking a wrong man. You see, why you want to place art on a higher level than any craftsmanship? That's my question. See, unfortunately, if there is no market for his creation, he'll be out of business. Suddenly, your great artist is starved, and people pay for millions and millions of dollars for their paintings. And it's the market that is responsible for all this so-called artistic creation. And they are not decent and decorous enough to admit that what all they create is nothing but an imitation of what is already there in nature. So all art is imitation of something that is there in nature. But nature doesn't seem to use anything as a model. So no two faces are the same, no two human beings are the same. So nature is creating something new all the time without a model. So that's the only creativity that is there in nature. But what we call creativity in arts, in literature, in music, in all the other fields of human thinking is acceptable, workable only within that frame. That's all that I'm saying. For one who has no taste for all this ancient or modern art, I cannot say much. You see, he is just a craftsman like any other craftsman. He uses that tool to express himself. So all human creation is born out of sensuality.
Sensuality.
Sensuality. The sensory activity is all that this human body is involved in. I don't know what the correct preposition is. So I'm not saying anything against that at all, you see. The demand is that, you see, for essential pleasure. So that is the pleasure movement. So even that has to be cultivated by you. Otherwise you have no way of appreciating the beauty, the art, and they feel superior because you don't have the taste that is expected of you. So if you question them and make funny comments about their creation, they want us to go to a school and learn how to appreciate them.
How to appreciate it. Yeah.
If you don't know
That's how culture develops.
Yes, if we don't know how to enjoy a poem written by somebody else, they send you to school and teach us how to appreciate poetry. That's all that they are doing in the education institutions.
Yeah.
To teach us how to appreciate beauty, how to appreciate music, how to appreciate painting, how to appreciate poetry. So they make a living, and we are forced to learn the art of appreciating what they have created. But I don't see any creativity there. My field is quite different. And now you will be surprised. One of these days, the computers will create music much better than all the painters and the musicians that the world has produced so far. It may not happen in our own lifetime, but it's going to happen, you know. So exactly the same process that is operating in you, you are no different from a computer. We are not ready to accept, because we are made to believe that we are not just machines, that there is something more there. Unless we come to terms with that and accept that we are machines, you know, and that is a very intelligent machine there, with a tremendous intelligence there. And the human intellect which we have developed through education, through all kinds of techniques, is no match to them. That's enough.
No, no match at all.
No match. So we continue this this evening. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Well, that is yours, not mine. I have nothing to do.